Just a quick note before we start. Scroll down to the bottom and click the quizzes and click Take Quiz. That way you can actually answer the questions instead of just thinking of the answer. Well, today I'm going to be taking advantage of a new YouTube feature which allows us to take quizzes. So we're going to do some car trivia. Now, I mean car trivia for real car nerds, for people that actually know cars, not just generic questions like what is the best-selling car. So pause the video and then wait for the answer. True or false? This interior is from a regular 2010 Toyota Prius. The answer is false. This is the interior from a Toyota Prius plug-in hybrid from 2012, 2 years later. The difference is the Prius plug-in hybrid, instead of having the vent continue across the dashboard, had it covered over with silver dashboard material. Moving on. Question number 2. On the second generation Mitsubishi Mirage, launched in about 2013, it came with an original wheel cover hubcap design of either A or B. Which one was it? If you picked A, you are correct. The B hubcap only came out with the 2016 Mitsubishi Mirage, even though it originally shipped with the A hubcap. The 6th generation Toyota Camry is often associated with the 6-spoke hubcap below the image. But the thing that you may not know is that this was not the original hubcap for the 6th generation Toyota Camry. When it launched in 2006, it came with hubcap either A or B. That's right, the original hubcap only had 6 spokes. Moving on. In the 2014 movie classic with Steve Carell, produced by Disney, Alexander and the Terrible, Horrible, No Good, Very Bad Day, which minivan did they drive? Did they drive A, a Volkswagen Rutan, B, a Chrysler Town & Country, or C, a Toyota Sienna? That's right, the correct answer was B, they drove a Chrysler Town & Country. But if you picked C, I'll give you half a point. You get that extra point because, in fact, in the Diary of a Wimpy Kid Long Haul, they did, in fact, drive a minivan. And this was more of a movie trivia question than a car trivia question, so I'll give you half a point for remembering an obscure movie that probably no one remembers today. There are 2 minivans here, the red one labeled A and the black one labeled B. Which one of these is a Ford Windstar minivan? Which one? Alright, well, if you picked A, you are unfortunately wrong because B is, in fact, the Ford Windstar. The red minivan is known as a Ford Freestar, not Windstar. When Chrysler first came out with the Pacifica, it was a fantastic successor to the Chrysler Town & Country, which was killed off due to its crash test ratings. I have a video on that if you're interested in that. But the issue was, by the time the second facelifted Chrysler Pacifica was to come out, there was no more Dodge Grand Caravan, and they needed a cheap model. So they revived an old name, put it under the Chrysler name as the cheap budget version of the Pacifica, or just the older version that had not been updated in its cheapest trim level. This name came from what brand? If you said Plymouth, you are correct. The Plymouth Voyager. In 2012, Toyota released a limited edition sport edition of the Prius. Was this A, no physical change, rather just, powertrain, a sport button, just, a little bit more. C, custom wheels, not a whole lot going on, special color. Or B, custom wheels, but not a whole lot going on in the actual physical body of the car. If you picked option B, you were correct. Option A is just a regular 2010 Toyota Prius, and option C is the Toyota Prius Persona series, another, not really sporty, I don't really know, just weird Toyota trim level of the Toyota Prius. In fact, the Toyota Prius 3 Sport was a dealer-installed option. Question number 8. With the 2010 Toyota Prius, it came with steel wheels that had hubcaps over them. The hubcaps were intended to give you more gas mileage by flattening out the wheels to make less resistance when driving. It's about 1 mile per gallon, it doesn't really matter, but it's nice to have them, I think it completes the look of the car. Anyway, under those hubcaps was a wheel design of either A or B, and I'll give you a little hint. The wheel design, which it not is, has the letter of the Prius that it is actually from. If you picked option B, you are correct. Option A is from the Toyota Prius V. Question number 9. What is the name of this fine automobile? If you picked Honda Accord Cross Tour, you are correct. Moving on. Question number 10. What is the name of this vehicle? I'll give you a hint. It's a hybrid. If you picked Lexus HS, you are in fact correct. Moving on. If you live in North America and someone asks you about a Honda Odyssey, you probably picture the iconic sliding door minivan. But if you were to ask someone in Australia about a Honda Odyssey, they would tell you a very different description of a slightly smaller, still third-row family vehicle without sliding doors. What car is this car based on? If you said Honda Accord, you are correct. Question number 12. Depending on your opinions on cars, the first generation Nissan Quest is either the ugliest or the prettiest minivan ever made. But the question here is, what brand was the first generation Nissan Quest rebadged as? If you said Mercury Villager, you were correct. All right, well, that's the end of trivia. I had a fun time. I enjoy making these. It seems like, a lot of times, as I already said, in car trivia, they just make generic, questions. Like, what is the best-selling car? And it's the Toyota Corolla. You know what I mean? But I feel like I did a good job of making obscure references that I'm sure a lot of people would make, and I know there were a lot of Prius ones, but hey, we have a lot of Prius people on this channel. But if you like more, don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. Give me some obscure questions of your own, because these are just facts that I happen to know off the top of my head. I actually didn't know about the Mercury Villager one. That was kind of interesting. Look at that one. It actually had a front light bar. Anyway, with that, thank you for watching. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe, and I will see you all real soon. Wow, that video really didn't take that long.